Hello everyone, this is the Tube Amper here, and in this video, or possibly multiple videos, we're going to be taking a look at this nice vintage Westinghouse fan. I believe it to be either from the probably 40s, 50s, or 60s. I'm sorry, that's very general time frame, but picked this up for 40 bucks somewhere, and I actually couldn't help myself. I already started working on it, as you can see by the nice reproduction head cord that we have on there. So I'm going to be showing you the steps that I take to make this very, very good condition old Westinghouse into a very nice and safe fan, at least as best as we can. Now this is a 3-speed fan, and it also oscillates, and thank God it currently works. Sometimes finding one in a working condition is the first challenge, which we already have that done. And like I said, I already started on this, so I already know that it's working and that everything's already going smoothly. Pretty much what you want to do on an old fan like this, and this is of course only, I'm not giving any proven advice or anything like that. I'm just making these videos to show what I do. Do it at your own risk, and you're liable for whatever you do. But pretty much you want to get some 3-in-1 motor oil. You do not want to use this multi-purpose oil that you could see here. You actually want the motor oil. It should come in a blue container, because the blue container has it without detergent. You want to get that. You want to oil up both the bearings, and the other thing is just replace all the cords and all the wiring as far as you can. If there's a speed coil in it, go right up to the speed coil, and as far as the motor goes, go straight into the windings if you can. Replace any of the cloth covered cord or anything like that. And I actually saved a bit of that, so I'll be able to show you. But also, if your fan has a head wire, as this one does, you want to replace that. And you can see I even got some nice little rubber grommets to do that. I haven't installed the top one yet because I still have to take off the top cover to show you guys. And just to finish up a bit of odds and ends in there, I personally like to replace the old cords that were on these. They're usually 2-prong. Little wimpy cords. I will replace them with the reproduction cloth covered cord, and I use 3 conductors, so I can have actually a grounding pin. I don't like to have anything that's this old with this much potential to have something wrong with the windings or something like that, or the speed coil windings, and not have it grounded. So I ground individually both the base and the actual motor housing, so that way no matter what happens, you're not going to get a shock from this unless you have a bad ground in your house and the fan decides to go bad on you. But I'll be back in a second to show you the cloth covered cord. So here you can see some of the cord that was originally used. Some wire nuts were used when somebody decided to put on a different cord for this. Really not the best solution. They can come loose, especially in something like a fan, but whatever. And then you can see a piece of the head wire there, the cloth covered cord, and then the rest of this. And that's not just my camera, that literally is black, and that is because they had filled that with so much oil that it actually started to discolor the cloth covered cord, and you do not want that. That's just not a good thing to have. And this is stiff and just really unsafe, not usable, and that's why I replace all of it with modern cloth covered cord, which actually I believe is double insulated. Not only are each of the conductors insulated, but there's also a single piece of insulation around all 3 conductors before the actual cloth covering. So here you can see I've removed the back of the fan, and we can see the gearbox and the knob for the oscillator mechanism, and we can also see the head cord going into the original clamp, just with a bit of electrical tape there, just to protect it a bit. Sorry about the focus on this. And then you can see the original wires coming out of the motor. Still not decided what I'm going to do with those exactly. I might just slide a bit of heat shrink over them, because it would be a real big pain to actually just replace those at the start, although that'd be the best thing to do. But then otherwise, just got to clean off the dirt, and also I'm going to be putting a ground connection with a nice ring terminal. You can see I already sanded off some of the paint there, and that's where the ground will be going. So that way the top will be earthed, and then I'll also have a separate earth in the bottom. Here you can see the original switch. I just have the knob taken off. Like I said, it's a 3-speed, so it's a 3-position switch. And that nice grommet. I get nice rubber grommets to replace the old and usually dried out ones. Another thing is I'm going to actually have to drill a separate hole for the power cord. As the more keen of you might have seen, there is no hole for it because the old head wire and the old actual plug wire was so thin it could come out through the same hole, but this reproduction head cord is much thicker, and that's not going to work. And you can actually see I chose a brown and black striped head cord. Here also we can see the back of the unit. You can see the paint's chipping off a bit. This actually was repainted because it's very noticeable, because you can see the back of the blades here are the same color as the cage, and then if I move this, the front of the blades are black. So I'm not exactly sure what they were doing when they were thinking of the color scheme for that, but whatever. I'm gonna leave it because it's that's as close to original as it's gonna get. I don't want to repaint it again. I'm not the best at painting, honestly. But I'm going to get to work on this, and I'll show you the progress as it goes along. Okay, so as you can see here, I just finished up work on the wiring of the motor housing. You have the little ground lug on there, and I heat shrunk and electrical taped the connections of the head wire to the existing motor wire. I also slipped on the grommet that I'll need for the motor housing there. So I'm pretty much gonna clean up the dirt that's in here and pop the housing back on, and then I'll give you a look at what we need to do inside of the base. Okay, so inside of the base here, you can see we have the head wire coming down on the left. We have 3 wires going between the switch and the speed coil, and then we will have the power wire coming in as well. And this is why I kept the original pieces of wiring, so I could actually see the way the different things went, and so I don't get mixed up. So once again, I'm just gonna tie the ground from this to the power cord ground coming in, and that'll go on a screw, and I'll sand it down nice to bare metal, and everything else gets hooked up just the way this was. And these cloth covered wires that you can see here will be probably replaced, probably right where they come out of the speed coil. And then that'll wrap this up pretty much, but I'll show you the steps in the way.